The internet's most talked about industry plant, Bobbi Althoff, just made a grand return, debuting a new podcast that's left everyone with more questions than answers. She went from hosting one of the fastest growing podcasts with her uniquely awkward dry humor.
So you're rich.
Excuse me?
That's why I have you here today. You're rich.
You reached out to me, and I'm excited to be here.
So you reached out to me. We don't have to get into the details about it. I know you're a little bit maybe embarrassed.
To becoming the target of intense online outrage for allegedly abandoning her family in search of internet clout. Well, now she's back with another podcast interviewing the hip-hop icon who kickstarted her career in the first place.
Welcome to the first episode that no one asked for.
Not this again.
But the question remains, why? Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be discussing the strange return of Bobbi Althoff, how she managed to land one of the most elusive hip-hop icons in the world for a second interview, why that's causing the industry plant allegations against her to resurface, and why she could be nothing more than a pawn in a far bigger PR scheme. Now, I've already covered the major controversy surrounding Bobbi Althoff and how it eventually led to her downfall, but if you haven't watched that video or need a refresher, here's a super quick recap to get you up to speed. Bobbi Althoff started going viral on TikTok from 2021 to 2023 for her uniquely awkward parenting videos, which led to her amassing 3.6 million followers on the platform. From there, she decided collaborating with others would be the best way to elevate her career.
It's like every day I was still posting 10 videos a day, even when I had my 3 million followers, and some of those videos would completely flop and get like 50,000 views, and I was just constantly having to think, and I was like, the only thing that is so successful every time is collabs. And then I saw this video of a girl talking about how much she made from her podcast, and I think I mentally decided that she made like at least 300 a year on her podcast alone, and I was like, that's what I need to do next. Like, I need a podcast.
So she started a podcast named The Really Good Podcast, where she utilized her awkward, standoffish energy to make her guests feel extremely uncomfortable.
So you're rich.
Excuse me?
That's why I have you here today. You're rich.
You reached out to me, and I'm excited to be here.
So you reached out to me. We don't have to get into the details about it. I know you're a little bit maybe embarrassed.
I'm also clinically depressed.
I'm depressed too, but I'm not on medication.
Okay. To each his own.
Yeah.
Or her own.
Their own.
Offering a dry, witty style of humor that was quite uncommon for podcasts at the time.
No.
Why not?
Because have you ever played?
Yeah,
It's really hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah.
So tennis is a relationship sport.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a relationship. Do you feel like you're a good partner?
No.
Oh. Okay, didn't expect you to say that.
However, what really set her podcast apart was Bobbi's unusual ability to get notable celebrities to sit down with her. This proved to be a double-edged sword, as it wasn't long before viewers were doubting if Bobbi's rise was truly organic or something that was carefully engineered. A sentiment that only grew deeper when Bobbi shocked the internet by getting a guest for her pod that no one could have expected. Someone who ended up helping her reach the highest point in her career, but also simultaneously kickstarted her downfall. This someone was none other than Drake himself.
Do you think I'm bad at rapping?
I've never
What's
heard
your favorite? What? You've never heard what?
Maybe on the radio, your music.
What?
Any of your music.
Okay, so you've never heard. You were gonna say you've never
Any
heard
of your
a Drake
music?
song?
No.
Ever?
Not that I can
never
think of.
heard a Drake song.
Can you sing one?
No, but like I'm just asking you, like, are you gonna be one of like those people? Like, I've never heard you before.
Not that I would recognize. Like, oh,
What?
that's Drake.
And although the podcast attracted several new viewers who enjoyed seeing Bobbi bamboozle Drake with her signature dismissive style,
But what would he drive or she drive? Would you have a female driver?
Probably.
That'd be like kind of.
Do you have any female drivers?
I don't. Now it sounds really like I'm not discriminating. I just don't. I haven't.
Okay.
It also cemented her as a definitive industry plant in many people's minds. Combine that with Drake publicly calling her out for being a bad parent.
You missed your daughter's first birthday.
To be here.
Dark. Regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
Where's your son?
Somewhere safe, and it's not his birthday.
When's his birthday?
What does it matter? It ain't today.
And what should have been the high point of Bobbi's career became the catalyst for her crumbling reputation, with the situation getting even worse when her husband Corey filed for divorce in February 2024, 6 months after she released her podcast with Drake, leading many to speculate that her interviewing Drake in his bed or having possible romantic relations with him behind the scenes. But nevertheless, her channel did end up growing because of this podcast, resulting in a 400k boost to her subscriber count, and additional opportunities to interview more A-list celebrities, including Lil Yachty.
Have you said nigga yet? Since like Riches? Like
No.
no?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think the people would be mad if you did.
Oh, yeah, I would be mad. I'm not.
Mark Cuban.
Sure, you can come to a game. It'd be fun.
I think that'd be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
you'd have a lot of fun with the Mavs.
I would have a lot of fun
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
Mavs.
they're fun guys too.
Yeah. What sport is it?
Basketball.
Oh, okay. I like
Yeah.
basketball players.
Do you really?
I like the players. Yeah.
Who's your best best friend player?
And Jessica Alba.
Oh my God, I always felt like that was such a stressful job.
It's the most stressful. I would spill milkshakes.
And like milkshakes, yeah.
I would spill them on people. I'm not even kidding, Jessica.
But you're so cute. They were like,
They would tip me
they
anyway.
still tip me.
However, as time passed, more and more of her viewers started turning on her, labeling her a clout chaser who abandoned her family for fame and money. This was also around the time the novelty of her podcast started wearing off for both her viewers and guests, with the rapper Offset even calling her out for being dull.
You need a little bit of seasoning. You ain't got no seasoning, man. You like a plain piece of chicken just on the thing, you pull it off, and then you serve the dish. You need some motherfucking seasoning, man. Damn, I'm trying to get you to play. You lost in the sauce. You ain't shaking my hand. We finna get you to 25 million. You know what I'm saying?
It also didn't help that Bobbi's industry plant allegations were now being brought up by beloved A-list celebrities like Keke Palmer.
Oh, you do feel kind of planty. We do have the same manager, so is this?
I know, isn't that
planted?
crazy?
Feels a bit planty.
This is definitely
You got here in 5 minutes. I took me 20 years.
Hey, it has been a minute.
By this point, both Bobbi and her podcast were on a downward trajectory, slowly fading into irrelevance, a process accelerated by her own comments towards one of the few people that were still on her side. You see, after her first podcast with him, Bobbi and comedian Funny Marco had developed a good friendship, which even extended to them going on tour together. That was until Marco posted a video to his channel titled "Why Did Me and Bobbi Cancel Our Tour?", where he calmly explained how him and Bobbi's comedy styles weren't mixing together well.
I did stand up before, and I'm still doing it, so I understand. I'm learning how to entertain a crowd, and it's not the same thing that you get on Instagram. This is real life where people are going to look and they want the energy and they want the feeling, and I feel like Bobbi was stiff a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey man, let's really work on this, like, and I paid script writers, like, let's really get him a show. And where she told me, that's not me. Bobbi was like, my comedy is me not talking a lot. And I'm like, shit.
So he decided to cancel the tour because he didn't want the fans to waste their money.
And people are paying their money to come see us. I really want that to get better. I don't want it to be the same. I don't want to take nobody money if you can't get it again. Let me start there. Let me say that. If you can't get the money again, you don't need to be doing it twice.
That said, he made sure to mention that neither of their styles were bad. They just didn't combine well.
Yes, but in real life, this is different. So her comedy was different from what she said, from what she wanted to bring to the show, which I can respect. You know what I'm saying? There's not nothing about me getting mad. I'm not saying you're doing nothing wrong. I can't, but I just don't agree with it. I can feel like I don't agree with it. You feel me? The same way she probably don't agree with what I do. So you're not wrong for how you feel. But again, when people pay them tickets, and I just feel like, and I'm trying to put a production show together, and then you're not saying nothing, and I'm up there trying to talk, and I'm like, hey, Bobby, and you're just like this. It was just like, it was hurting me.
Bobbi, however, decided to take this positive criticism as a personal attack and lashed out at Marco in a response video, calling him out for abandoning her.
Last year, we were supposed to go on tour, and I backed out last minute because my husband had just left me. I just had surgery, and I was super nervous going into this because I was not prepared. And I texted Marco, and I said, Marco, I'm so sorry to do this, but I am so depressed right now. I literally want to myself. He doesn't reply to me. And then he unfollows me. I woke up from surgery actually to him unfollowing me. And not only that, in the coming weeks, he would go on multiple podcasts and talk about how much he didn't fuck with my style of humor.
Being hypocritical about her performance.
I have social anxiety, like debilitating social anxiety. That's why this whole thing of me, it's not fully a character. I actually am socially awkward. I'm socially awkward. It's embarrassing. I don't want to be, so I lean into it. And I am doing my best on this stage. Our last show, I try my best to get out of my comfort zone. I drink a little, and I thought it went so well. I was like, Marco, I did everything you said. And like, I actually felt really good about it. I felt like I really got out of my comfort zone. I really felt good about it. And he's like, yeah, you killed it. It was great.
And ghosting her.
A couple more weeks, and I hear from my team that he canceled it. And I'm like, what the hell? Marco canceled the show. Like, why? They're like, I don't know. So I'm like calling him. Doesn't answer me. I'm like, okay, congratulations on the baby. Doesn't answer me. He just won't answer me. But then he's tagging me in posts of Taylor Swift dancing and being like, that's Bobbi. And I'm like, okay, at least we're still cool. Fast forward to today, and I get tagged in a video of Marco standing by a pool talking to everybody about why he canceled the tour.
Unfortunately for Bobbi, the majority of the internet didn't buy her side of the story one bit, and turned on her instead, eventually culminating in Bobbi announcing the end of her podcast for good on July 31st, 2025.
This is the last episode of the Really Good Podcast, and it has been a dream, every second of it. It's been 2.5 years. So today we're gonna put on a little funeral for it.
And even acknowledging how sudden her fall off was.
I knew when I started that it was gonna go places. I didn't know I would fall off as quickly as I did. To be honest, I did think this was gonna last a bit longer. But nevertheless, it lasted a minute, and I'm proud of the accomplishments I have.
Now, at the end of my last video, I speculated that although it was too early to tell, her dwindling celebrity connections, bad public perception, and worn-out interview style could spell the end for Bobbi's career. However, from her recent activity, it looks like she's on a mission to both prove me and the majority of the internet wrong. Because even though she had to end her podcast, she's been relatively active on TikTok ever since, still getting millions of views on her videos, and on top of that, she's made guest appearances on other high-profile podcasts like Nick Cannon at Night.
It's just amazing. I did her podcast, so I forced her to do mine. The one and only Bobbi Althoff. Y'all make some noise for her.
And although she seemed quite reserved during her appearance, giving one-word answers.
All right, Bobbi, under any circumstances, would you ever explore a threesome?
No.
Never?
No.
And generally trying to avoid speaking.
What if you walked in on your man and saw him, you know, going for the goal? What would you say something to him?
No.
You would just let him keep going?
I just don't get like the big deal, I guess.
She still managed to keep her name somewhat relevant, all of which hinted towards her eventually making a possible comeback. So it didn't come as a massive surprise when she relaunched her new podcast on the 2nd of September 2025. However, what was surprising was her guest, none other than Drake, making his second appearance. Something the internet thought wasn't possible, especially considering how the two of them left things after their first meeting. Starting with when Bobbi's interview with Drake was abruptly taken down on the 14th of August 2023, fueling speculations about their relationship, which Bobbi ended up leaning into, by showing up at one of his concerts and acting disinterested the whole time. And apparently, Drake at the time didn't take too kindly to this, and ended up unfollowing her on Instagram, with Bobbi following suit almost immediately. For a long time after that, the pair had no interactions, leading the internet to believe that they'd moved on from each other. That was until July 26, 2025, when Drake suddenly returned on her Instagram story, asking Bobbi to unblock his name from her comment section. Fast forward to September 2nd, and it seemed like Bobbi and Drake were closer than ever, since not only did he appear on her podcast again, he also admitted to spending an entire week alone with her.
You've been with me for a week. Describe the week in 3 words.
Let me think of this. Bored.
Like, a fucking liar.
Tired.
Okay, that's fine. You're jet lagged. Nothing to do with me.
Confused.
Okay.
That's my 3 words.
This sudden reunion has sparked plenty of questions online, especially considering the timing, since Bobbi was slowly fading into irrelevance before Drake just kickstarted her career again. Naturally, the industry plant allegations have also come back stronger than ever, with people wondering if this was a deliberate ploy to keep Bobbi's career afloat, with one commenter discussing the possibility that it might have been Drake who reached out to her, with a comment that read, "Aubrey is only going to her because he's too scared and salty to deal with hip-hop media, because they'll ask him the real questions. Bobbi blew up because of the first interview, so she'll do and say what he wants." And even though Bobbi has defended herself multiple times in the past, arguing that Drake's appearance came about organically,
Drake liked one of the videos I had uploaded, and he followed me. I didn't realize it at first. Marco called me and he was like, "Bobbi, look who just followed you." So I filtered it to verified only people, and I was like, oh my god, like why would he follow me? He's like, he liked the video, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna shoot my shot to Drake. I don't know how this, I thought the chance of him replying was like a 1%, and the chance of him saying yes was like 0.000. I was like, there's no way. So I was like, come on my podcast. I said, when are you going to come on my podcast?
And he just was
He said,
game right
yeah,
away.
he was ready to do it.
This time, it seems like she's leaning into her negative image, which is not only apparent from the title of her new podcast episode, Not This Again, but also the sarcastic description of her YouTube channel that reads, "My first show was so universally loved that I had no choice but to make another. Everyone begged me to come back, told me I'm a national treasure, and reminded me daily that I'm the world's best mum." Plus, this time around, the podcast itself also felt friendlier, with Bobbi dropping her awkward character for the most part to have a more candid conversation with Drake.
I mean,
The biggest bump in my road was after that, though.
I am the biggest bump in your road, huh?
I don't know what you're trying to imply with that, but yes, that was.
That sounded crazy.
I'm just saying, it was like after that, it was like pretty hard. I was like, people were like, oh,
yeah,
how could he put her on and then take her off right after?
Why would he take you off?
But that's kind of how people saw it. That's how people saw it.
Which has rekindled the rumors of a romantic relationship between the two as well, especially due to how the podcast ended, with Drake trying to kiss her.
What are you thinking? That's not what I want to happen every single interview. Can you imagine that being the thing?
I don't know. Title card?
And the images they took to promote the podcast. However, at this stage, considering how sudden their reunion was, the more likely explanation is that she truly is an industry plant who has been brought back to boost Drake's PR. For one, both Drake and Bobbi have been tied to the same talent agency ever since her first interview in Drake's bed. So it's entirely possible that they've been lobbying on her behalf behind the scenes, trying to get him to bring her back into the mainstream. Plus, Drake himself has shown willingness to pick favorites in the entertainment industry when it comes to maintaining his reputation. The best example of this is how Drake only appears on Aiden Ross's streams, and even flew him and his streamer friends to his performance at the Wireless Festival, while at the same time he's been ignoring Kai Cenat despite promising to show up on his stream since the 12th of June. More recently, the two have been embroiled in a mini feud, with Drake even trying to make fun of Kai Cenat by posting an image of his forehead on his Instagram, because Kai didn't enjoy his Iceman stream. So a stream with Kai seems off the cards for the foreseeable future. Another prime example is his great relationship with the Nelk Boys, with him even gifting Kyle Forgard a $1 million watch recently.
I don't even know what this is, but it looks expensive.
which many are speculating was a bribe to make sure they'd keep portraying him in a positive light, since their recent interview with Benjamin Netanyahu has proved that they're willing to do anything for attention and money. But what adds the most credence to the Bobbi being an industry plant theory is that Drake has continued to ignore DJ Academics, someone who has been lobbying on Drake's behalf for years, trying to paint him in a good light.
What about the 17-year-old that he was talking to on stage?
Yeah, what about her? Bro, that's like 15 years ago. Drake was like 20. I'm not saying that was cool.
What?
No, it was 15.
No, bro. Wait, hold on. So just because it was 15 years ago, it completely negates the fact that he found out she was underage and then proceeded to kiss her on the lips.
No.
Just because it was 15 years ago.
I'm not saying it's not odd. I'm just saying is if that's the only thing you have and you're trying to paint him as this weird sexual deviant, and that's the only thing you can fall back on because nothing else holds water.
Just to get him on a podcast. But instead of rewarding Academics' contributions in maintaining his reputation, Drake chose to show up on Bobbi's podcast instead, which again, like this comment suggests, might be because Bobbi is easier to control and can help present himself in a more positive light. But whatever the case may be, one thing's for sure, Bobbi's comeback has been quite successful. Her new video with Drake has managed to garner over 2.3 million views in just over a week, and has also boosted her total subscribers by 20k. Plus, much like her first Drake interview, this could pave the way for more high-profile guests on her podcast. That said, the longevity of this comeback still remains to be seen. Bobbi has pretty much abandoned her signature podcast character and switched to having more casual conversations with her guests, which is probably a step in the right direction considering how her viewers eventually grew tired of her specific brand of dry humor. That said, Bobbi still has plenty of critics, most of whom are still calling her out for abandoning her marriage and kids to chase internet clout. It'll be interesting to see if she can sustain her success despite the constant backlash, or if she'll return to being irrelevant and forgotten, a fate that seems more and more likely for Nikocado Avocado as well. Click the video on screen to find out more.